I feel you in the wind, I see you in the trees. Everywhere I look, I feel your heartbeat. Majestic mountains high, in every drop of rain. All of this just shows me how much you love me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your constant care for me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your endless grace for me. In every drop of dew, the rustling of the leaves, the chirping of the birds, a perfect symphony. The smell of the flowers, the richness of the soil, the sweetness of the fruit that satisfies. I am amazed by the symphony of your creation. I am amazed by your omnipresence. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your endless grace. From a firefly to a shooting star to the song a cricket sings, from the raging seas to the placid lakes to the bubbling of the stream, from the rays I feel from the rising sun to the stillness of the night. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your constant love for me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty.
Good morning. We're here in Stories for a Better Normal on a Thursday morning. I'm so excited because we've been talking about many sustainable measures during this pandemic, from sustainable mobility to permaculture and organic farming and sustainable living to sustainable livelihoods and rural artisans and designers who utilize textiles from the fibers and fabrics that are done, lovingly created by our indigenous people and rural artisans. And today, we will be joined by friends, by entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs to utilize the textiles of our rural livelihoods. But before that, allow me to just say little something about each of them. Then I will present a short presentation on piña, which I am wearing. We welcome Len Kabili of Filipina. We will tell you more about what she does and her work with the indigenous weavers of South Cotabato, which I've been witness to, as well as the embroiderers of Laguna and many more. We're also joined by a Mindanaoan who has taken the cudgels to help promote the indigenous weaves and beadwork of the people in the Davao region, the Balaan, the Atatalaingod, the Manobos, even the Tibolis in Region 12. So Marga Nograles of Kaayo Mindanao is joining us. And from Mindanao, we also proceed to those who do Abel. For those who are confused, Abel, Habol, Hablon, these are different languages in the Philippines where it simply means weave. And a young former colleague from ABS-CBN, Nina Corpus, transformed herself not just from a journalist, but now the social entrepreneur. And because she's Ilocana, ang nanay ko rin niya Ilocana, she does innovate on the abel of the Cordillerans and those from the Ilocos region. Now, another friend, actually a daughter of a friend, who hails from Mindanao as well, and in fact, I was instrumental in helping the local government when her father was mayor to rebuild and improve the Yakan village in Zamboanga, Louis Lobregat of Linea Ethnica, who helped and worked with our Yakan weavers in Zamboanga City. Hmm. Now, I am no longer a senator after 3 terms since 1998. Now I represent the Lone District of the province of Antique. When you say Antique, what is it known for? Aside from piña, patajong. Patajong, yun yung flag na makulay. Kami mga Antiqueño mahilig sa makulay. And so a young designer, magkapatid sila, decided to set up a small business to help promote and perhaps innovate on the traditional patajong in Antique. And I'm talking about the Marie sisters, Liao sisters of Designs by Marie. We have Susan Marie Liao later. And ang katabing probinsya ng Antique ay ang Iloilo. Nandyan din ang mga naghahablon, sa Meg-Ao, sa Oton. Nandyan din ang mga gumagawa ng pinya, just like in our neighboring province of Aklan. And so we are joined by Jorel Espina, who has been known for his bomberong. And also we have an innovator. We would say that I think it is the lone knitwear or one of the few that does not import their knit, but actually does it with their innovation technology, which I'd like to know more of. And they use the designs, whether ikat designs or various indigenous designs, but contemporized in knitwear in a product or a brand called Alena. So I would like to talk to all of them and tell us about how they work with the indigenous weavers in the various provinces and localities where they work. Second, how the pandemic has affected the market. And third, what are the innovations they do from the original design of our indigenous people? I believe whether it is Abel from the Cordillera or it is the Malong Landak of the Maranao or the designs of the Panay Bukidnon in Panay, these indigenous people, rural women, artisans, are designers in themselves. That is why last week we had textile design expert Norma Respicio, and we had young designers and artisans as young as 11 years old from Zamboanga and designers from Abra as well as Antique joining us. And we will have them in the coming stories for a better normal. But today, we will have the collaborative effort of young female and male designers who may be based in the cities, in the metropolis, but utilize the weaves, the fabrics, the materials that they innovate and collaborate with the rural women and men. Now, let me just, if you allow me, just a few minutes to show you some of the pictures that I brought all the way to Rur University in Bochum. I also brought it to the School of Oriental and African Studies a few years ago in London to lecture on Philippine textiles, more particularly on this, what I am wearing, which is piña from pineapple. As you know, we've had the Hibla traveling exhibition of Philippine textiles, and that will come later on in future stories. But today, I would like to present to you just a few minutes of the lectures I delivered in the School of Oriental and African Studies in London and Ruhr University in Bochum in Germany. So If we're ready with the picture, traditional textiles are ties that bind, bringing together industries, communities, and people. A fabric or a garment is a product of diligence, hard work, and passion. Several hands are needed to make one fabric. Imagine how many families and communities we support if we continue to promote the use of traditional textiles. Pineapple fiber is considered to be more delicate in texture than any other vegetable fiber. It is extracted from the leaves of the pineapple plant, the red Spanish variety. It has leaves that yield excellent fibers for hand weaving. Hand-woven piña with intricate embroidery was greatly prized. It is still now. In the 1860s, many European royalties received gifts of piña cloth originating from the Philippines to commemorate momentous occasions. However, the eventual influx of cheaper and imported machine-woven fabrics and the foreign influence on Philippine fashion resulted in the decline of piña, which is a laborious and time-consuming method. In a bid to revive the industry, government and private sectors implemented the pilot production of piña fiber and cloth in Aklan in 1989 and even in Antique. Aklan and Antique have been known as a center of piña fiber cloth production since the red Spanish variety is mainly found on our island of Panay. Piña seda is combined sometimes. It's a hand-woven fabric made from hand-craft piña fiber. There it is. Blended with silk to produce different textures and designs. Aside from being lightweight, the combined property of pineapple and silk makes the fabric not too stiff compared to pure pineapple. It has more body compared to pure silk. It is stronger than pure pineapple, 3 times cheaper, easier to weave due to the strength of the silk. Among the challenges in the production of piña seda are the limited supply of silk fibers, limited supply of knotters of piña fibers. The PTRI notes that there is a low confidence sometimes in the profitability of sericulture, the lack of integration of supply in the value chain, and the lack of water during extreme heat or periods of drought. In terms of piña fiber, the tedious process of hand scraping the fiber has led to limited production. The irregular demand for piña cloth products due to its being high priced is also a challenge. Lack of capital to purchase raw materials, looms, and tools, lack of training are some of the constraints. But the local textile industry is continuously evolving. These challenges only encourage innovativeness. The Sericulture Research and Development Institute in Bacnotan, La Union has established 44 sericulture technology demonstrations in 8 provinces: La Union, Ilocos Sur, Norte, Abra, Rizal, Zambales, Batangas, and Bulacan. In fact, I funded it as senator, as chairman of finance. And we have the mulberry research and development, which has helped boost the production of heavy leaf-yielding mulberry trees. Mulberry farming is important to silk production because silkworms feed solely on mulberry leaves. In a bid to increase production of pineapple fiber, the Department of Agriculture, through Philfida, has provided agricultural machinery to farmer cooperatives from different regions to maintain large plantations of pineapple, especially in Mindanao. And to ensure the sustainability of the local textile industry, there is a need for convergence among agencies and governments, production of raw materials, training, workshop, equipment, materials, product development, promotion, design, systematic marketing systems. So over these years, I have tried to work with governments, with our local government, with FUCs and the national government to provide support for programs to help farmers, weavers, local textile manufacturers through additional funding in the national budget, like the development of silk at the Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University in Bacnosan, La Union, the establishment of weaving and processing centers through Filpida, the provision of technical assistance for the textile industry, the establishment of natural dye centers, the conduct of natural dye and weaving seminars, the production support services, including cotton development and the establishment of cotton processing centers and technical support. Under the MTCA, we provide assistance to artisans, including weavers, for looms, threads, and materials. We've also filed House Bill 445, seeking to recognize, protect, sustain innovation, and professionalize the handloom weaving industry. The Tropical Fabrics Law, a long, long ago law in my first term, intends to promote Philippine natural fabrics to the use of such materials for the official uniforms of government, officials, and employees to support the local fiber industry. The strengthening of the local tropical fabrics industry is attuned to our advocacy of promoting sustainable development and preserving a rich heritage. And so all of these are just some of the innovations, the efforts that we have done so that we are able to help the local tropical fabrics industry so that we are able to help a rural artisan so that we are able to provide rural livelihoods. And so we welcome today those who are part of this convergence process, those who may be born in the cities or work in boutiques and stores or even sell online, but who actually are in direct touch with our weavers and artisans. May we start? So I welcome all of you. Hi, good morning. I'd like them to say at least good morning. Yes, maybe start with Len to say good morning. Hi, Len. Do
Hi,
we have
Carmen.
online?
Hi,
Yeah,
Carmen Legarda. How are you? Thank you for having all of us here. Such a pleasure to be speaking to you and listening to the other designers as well.
I love your workplace, and I can see
A
the
bit of,
textiles hang in the background. It's really a
yeah,
workplace, literally, right?
it is our design studio. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but yeah.
Okay, do you recognize this?
Yes, I do. Thank you for wearing it. One of our I can like date that back to probably 2013.
Well,
Yeah,
yes.
2013, 2012. Very
Ako,
early. Yeah. Thank you.
kauna, nung hindi pa international si Len, nagpupunta ka sa bahay ko, di ba?
So you would like open your closet and look at your collection of traditional garments.
Yes,
Extensive,
yes,
very
yes.
extensive collection.
You've grown so much, and micromanage mo pa ako noon. We would text each other. You would
Yeah.
send some packages to me, and I would select what would fit me. And I've seen how you've grown and actually work with our people directly, and you will tell us more about that. Yes, and we would proceed now with after Len. Let me see. Next in line, let me see. Who do I see here? After Len, Elsie. Elsie Sandon. I can see you now. Potential walang mata. Are you there with us?
Hi.
Hi, Elsie. From all our guests today, who are all entrepreneurs just like you, perhaps iba yung sayo dahil ito'y hindi fabric na weaving galing sa katutubo, ito'y hindi beadwork na galing sa mga indigenous people, pero ito ay gumagamit ng Filipino technology na gumagawa ng Filipino knitwear. Tama? And you call it the spacer fabric.
That's right.
Why do we say that it is the lone knitwear in the Philippines that's Philippine made? Alam ko, you are working out of Region 4. Nasa Carmona, Cavite kayo, at for a while ginamit nyo yung bikutan na planta na napondohan natin under PTRI, but eventually you set up your own, right? Okay, tell us more about this spacer fabric that is a Filipino innovation of Alena. Yes.
Yes. Actually, the spacer fabric came about because of, how it is when sometimes we talk about necessity being the mother of invention, tama? And so, us people from as knitters, we wanted to make sure that we don't look left and right and follow what is the traditional knitwear. So we wanted to come out with something that has more function, something that is more breathable, something that is light. And so this came about so useful, especially when we started in March, when this pandemic started. There was a need for face masks. And so we wanted to make sure that we come up with our very own fabric that will answer all those needs of protection,
No, and
includes weight.
very later you will show us a presentation. Each of you, I hope, have prepared your own presentation on your respective innovations and creativity. In fact, I would like to think that I'm one of the guinea pigs of LC and ME tandem because long before in the Senate, when they were just starting their business and they had issues and concerns with PTRI, I would connect them with PTRI. And then eventually, they grew and they already have their own website, Instagram, all of that. Pero ang prototype, palaging akong sumusuot pag nakikita nila sa social media yung suot ko, may nag-order na, ayan, gawa na sila, hindi ba? Parang ako yata ang ano yun, guinea pig. Hindi model, guinea pig. Oh, sige.
The only reason why you became the guinea pig, Senator Lauren, is because we know how deep your appreciation and how deep your knowledge is when it comes to textile, diba? It's like it would be wasted on anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about. So thank you.
Okay, let me just, I wish I could share.
Do you remember this color?
Yes.
This is,
Yes.
in fact, when we just started our piña cotton, you asked for, because this is your royal blue, it just so happened that at that time we were making piña cotton, so we made you something that you would like. So I think you have a cardigan that is this color.
It's so interesting, and we will talk about that later, from Carmona, Cavite. And we started, of course, with Len Cabili, who works with the Tiboli of South Cotabato. We go back to Mindanao. This lady has been a friend. Actually, all of you are friends. Either we became friends because of our love for indigenous textiles, working with rural artisans, or sheer Filipino creativity, leveling it up to the global standards of excellence. And another young entrepreneur who does not sit on her laurels when she could actually live a comfortable life, whose creative juices also is just unleashed together with the indigenous peoples of Mindanao, most specifically Region 11, where she's from, Kaayo of Marga Nograles. Nung malalamig sa Senado, I would wear all colors of the tangkulo, the scarf that she is known for, but it has grown. She has started. Honestly, I used to work, I knew her husband earlier than her, and ang una na naglako sa akin ng damit ni Marga ay asawa niya. Nung kami ay nag-budget BICAM, may dala siya na bigay ni Marga at yung iba pala, babayaran kung bibilin ko. So in a way, most of you here, ako ang guinea pig. Mula sa spacer fabric ng Alena, hanggang nagsimula pati Pilipina, hanggang sa mga BICAM session namin ni Secretary Nograles na ang asawa niya ay nagbigay sa akin ng, ng mga blusa at bag. Kaya Marga Nograles of Kaayo, she also has a standalone boutique already that opened before the pandemic. I'd like to know how all of you are doing. First, working with the artisans and the IT sa bundok, and the indigenous people you work with. Marga.
Good morning, Senator Lauren. Thank you so
Hi.
much for having me. And then, I always say in Kaayo, it has been a learning experience for me, and I learned so much from you and everyone else who we have here with us this morning. It is an honor to be with you and all of you. Thank you for having us.
Marga, you work directly with the Region 11, the Davao Indigenous people. And just to be sure, ito yung mga Atatalaingos, hindi ba?
No, actually, I was gonna say the Atamanobos.
Atamanobo.
And then we work a number of indigenous tribes in Mindanao, not just in Davao.
Hindi lang Davao, kasi you also work with the Tibolis of Region 12 sa Lake Cebu, right? Oo.
The Blaans, oo.
Ang mga balaan ng Sarangani. Oo.
Yes. The
Yung
Blaan,
Atamanobo.
they're from Kiblawan, Senator. Yan, Kiblawan, Davao del Sur. Different,
Davao.
a different Blaan group. Yeah.
Very good. And we will see your presentation later on. What you're wearing is an authentic blouse, not your design, right? Or did you innovate it?
No, this is an authentic Ablaan top, but I had it made cropped, so it's a little shorter than usual.
Yes.
So you can wear it with high
Okay.
pants or yes.
Yes. Very nice. Very good. Talagang ang galing ng beadwork nila, no? So what you're wearing is an authentic Balaan.
I love
top.
talking to you, Senator, because you know all the little details of everything local that we all wear.
Para din accurate ako, no? Itong suot ko ay pineapple fiber at ang beads ko ay galing, I think if I'm not mistaken, sa Abra. Ito'y itneg na mga beads at isa sa mga nag-advocate at nag-trabaho sa mga taga-norte, mula sa Davao, pupunta naman tayo sa Ilocos region. She's a friend, a former colleague, pero hindi ko yata naabutan kasi batang-bata pa siya when I left ABS in 1998. Maybe she was still a child. I'm not sure if she was already a reporter then. Nina Corpus has been working with the Ilocanos because she's Ilocana. Nakikita ko sa Instagram post nga niya. I still have to wear your clothes because my makeup artist, Rosita, would always tell me, Ma'am, bili ka naman ng mga kay Nina Corpus. Ako gustong-gusto ko. Kaya lang, sa pagka-busy ko, hindi ako nakakapunta sa mga pop-up ni Nina. Kasi siguro pipili na lang ako sa Instagram. Sabi ko, ang dami ko na dalawa na ang kwarto ko ng mga abel. Dahil ang aking nanay, Yaya, ay taga-Paway, Ilocos Norte. At alam ba niya, nagtayo pa ako ng cotton farm sa Gamaba Awardee sa Pinili, Ilocos Norte to propagate cotton. And I will link you to them for their supply of cotton. Nina Corpus Rodriguez. Yes. Hi, Nina. Congratulations for the work.
Magandang umaga. Yeah, magandang umaga, Ma'am Lauren, na Imbaga Bigat. Thank you for having me here. It's truly an honor to be with all of you, and I really look forward to learning from everyone today.
Ang ganda-ganda. Teka, yung top na sinusuot mo, although perhaps on Zoom or Facebook, kala nila plain white, but actually, yan yung parang embossed na beige or puti na abel, di ba?
Yes, that's right. Ma'am Lauren, ito yung parang brocade-like inabel. Para siyang, ang tawag namin pinilyan from, maraming gumagawa ngayon sa Santiago, sa Ilocos Sur. Pero ito actually galing to sa Ilocos Norte. Where I'm from, I grew up in Batac, Ilocos Norte, Ma'am Lauren. Malapit sa Paway, katabi ng Paway.
Ang nanay ko ay talagang taga Batac. Nag-migrate sila papunta ng Paway. At ting umuwi ako sa nanay ko, ay kasama ko pa rin nanay ko ngayon, 87 years old. But you know, that's why my passion for weaving and in a way, yung aking puso para sa abel dahil lumaki ako with a weaver because ang nanay ng aking nanay ay isang weaver galing sa Batac. At yung kanyang tuwalya no ako'y bata na nakigay-peri bagaya ay inabel, hinabi ng nanay ko. Kaya natutuwa ako na pinopropagate mo ang kultura ng inyong pamilya. And I'm so happy. Maganda mag-order niyan kasi ako si partial sa beige, sa white, but I also like the colors of Mindanao and the Patanjong, of course, si Ganina. And I really appreciate how all of you have gone out of your way to fix your background, to curate your background. Ito kasi yung workstation ko.
Ma'am Lauren, nagpuyat ako dyan. Hindi ko alam kung anong ilalagay ko. Anong ilalagay ko sa likod. Naglagay ako
Nako,
ng logo, naglagay ako ng parang barong na damit, tapos nilagay ko yung mga Magdalena Gamayo ko sa likod.
ang Magdalena Gamay. Ayun, one of the Gamaba awardees. You've been to the Gamaba in the National Museum, right, Nina?
The National Museum here in Manila. Unfortunately, Ma'am Lauren, oo, pasensya na hindi pa ako nakapunta. Pero
May
yung mga
I,
nasa Ilocos, yes.
may I ask all of you, the six of you, six ba kayo, seven today? As soon as the pandemic's over, kayo ang original barkada ko that I will tour personally, whether nagpunta na kayo o hindi, sa hibla ng Lahing Filipino Textile Gallery in National Museum to the Gamaba Gallery in National Museum. And then we will go to Likhaan in Intramuros, a small space that I created under the NCCA and the Intramuros administration as a creative resource center. In fact, may I invite you, ayan, idea to, we will have a day for each of you. Let's say Len will lecture on what she wants to do. If it's pinya and embroidery with the Lumban weavers, yes. Then Marga can lecture on the Ata Manobo and bring an Ata Manobo weaver. And then we can talk about Abel Iloco and have a young entrepreneur, Nina, with the weaver of Magdalena Gamayo. And Magdalena was with us when we opened both the National Museum Hibla and Likhaan Gallery. So I've already created 2 hubs, but these are static galleries. What we need are the weavers that I used to bring there. But before that, and Elsie, of course, you also use pinya and cotton, and we will get there. Now, we also have, perhaps she's the youngest of all our guests today, whose mother is a friend. Yung magkapatid na ito ay na-inspire sa kultura namin sa Antique. Sana makapunta rin kayo. So sa bucket list natin, dadaling ko rin kayo, sana mag-innovate. Maski ang ginagawa nyo ay Mindanao Designs at saka Cordillera at Ilocos, maari naman mag-convergence at collab, hindi ba? Ang Abel at ang Patadyong, ang Ata Manobo at ang Patadyong, ang Pinya Seda at ang Patadyong. Kaya Susan Mariliao sa Designs by Marie na parang uniforme ko na sa aking mga programa. Number 1, it's affordable. Number 2, they work directly with the barangay, not even city or municipality, barangay Bagtason. At aminin mo, Marie, Susan, di ba? Ako mismo ang nagpupunta sa barangay para tignan ang pangangailangan ng loom weavers at anong mga tela or fiber na kailangan. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Maya Daga, Deputy Speaker. We miss you here in Antique. My mom
Yes.
regards, no? So it is an honor for me to be here today with this great designer. So thank you for the support, and thank you for having me here.
Now tell us briefly. Una, mangyag nga aga, kaninyong tanan, miss na miss ko ng Antique. Hay, nako, kung pwede lang yung flights every week, pero wala pa tayong regular flight at kailangan mag-quarantine ako ng 14 days pag pupunta ako dyan dahil patuloy din ang ating mga trabaho dito sa Maynila. We will get to that later, bagong hobby. At saka alam mo, yung ginagawa nila, di ba, sa Bagtason Weavers, hindi yan machine. Every strand, every fiber is hand-woven by the women and men weavers of Bagtason in Bugasong in Antique. Tama?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, very good. Now, si Jor-El, the last but not the least, we have Jor-El Espina. Ang kanyang jacket, sinuot ko pa yata nun sa Lisbon, Portugal. Kasi ang ginaw nun, binigay sa akin ni Senator Binay, siyang una sa akin kay Jor-El. Sabi niya, regalo ko sa iyo pag biyahe mo. Kaya doon ako nagkaroon ng unang Jor-El nung binigay ng aking BFF seatmate. Are you with us, Jor-El?
Yes, good morning. Mayong aga from Iloilo.
Mayong aga, mayad nga aga. Nagpunta na rin ako sa shop mo, pero wala ka nun. Ang tagal-tagal at ang dami kong binili. Oo.
I was in Manila studio, so only my secretary who assisted you, and surprisingly, you got everything. Ang dami mo daw binili.
Okay, kaya nga, Dalawa na ang kwarto ko rito na punong-puno ng tela at ng mga gawa na. At I don't mind telling you, some of it, all of you, I've gotten from the provinces and from most of you, I share some, which is not bad. Ninya, tanong mo, nung sa newsroom ako noon, mula 1986, pagka World Tonight ko noon, hinuhubad ko na yung suot ko, iniiwan ko sa news, hinihingi ng mga production assistants o ng ibang reporters. Even now,
Yes, ma'am. Oo, yung
yeah,
makeup artist si Rosita, every day, mas maganda pa yung suot niya sa amin, yung makeup artist mo, Ma'am Lauren. Sabi ko, donyang-donyang ka, Ate Rosita. Suot niya yung Linea Ethnica ni Louis. Nakita ko yon. Hindi pa ako gumagawa ng Inabel noon eh.
Yes, yes. I would share some. Even, let's say, Carol Malasig, the wife of a diplomat in Berlin, nagustuhan niya yung ibang suot ko. Kaya, Jorel, kung mapansin mo, yung isang suot niya galing sa akin. I don't mind sharing it. As I tell them, it is pre-worn, pre-loved, but because I cannot wear it every day, like, especially in this virtual world. And so I share it after having worn it once or twice. But Nina, you ask the anchors and former reporters since 1986, those who have retired, hindi lang si Rosita, marami
Ngayon yun kasi.
Yes, I share, and up to now I share. So, Jorel, I like yata, yung maganda yata yung combination of denim and
this is what we call the Marong Tagalog. So it's maong and barong. So it's the new thing. So alam mo po ba ang story nito, Senator Lauren? It's kasi hindi naman natin sometimes controlled yung mga barong when we have it made. There are sometimes may mga stains. So ang ginawa ko, pinuputol yung mga gilid, then pinatch na lang siya dun sa maong. So at least may ano na siya, may bagong life na rin siya. Aside from, our signature bamarong, so may ibang version na rin siya.
Yes. After, last but not least, we proceed to Louis. How is our Yakan village doing? Wait, someone said that my audio is not clear. Do you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's probably my staff because somebody texted me that my audio is not clear. I will go closer to my computer. I hope I am seen and heard clearly. Louis Lobregat from Zamboanga City works closely with a Yakan weaver, both old and young. And when I have been going to the Yakan village in Zamboanga City, at nakita ko, yero, putik-putikan, at minsan sobrang init. Kaya sabi ko, magandang ayusin ang ating Yakan village. I hope, Louis, in your presentation, you can show how we improved the stalls of our Yakan weavers and how we set up a weaving center for the Yakan. Louis Lobregat of Linea Ethnica. Again, si Louis would send me her prototypes and say, if it works well with you, maybe we will reproduce this jacket. Hi, Louis.
Hi, good morning, Deputy Speaker Lauren. Good morning to all our viewers and to the fellow designers. Thank you very much for having us. And yes, Deputy Speaker, I have in my presentation the progress and development that you've helped bring into Zamboanga City to the Yakan Weaving Village. And also, I have a photo of you in the Lauren jacket, which we named after you.
Wow, I'm so happy. Last week, as I said, yung textile expert na si Dr. Norma Respicio ay kasama natin. Pero kasama din natin ang mga batang nagwi-weave ng nakasekutangan pa sila.
Yes.
At ito 11 at 12 years old na weavers na galing sa Zamboanga. Yakan, the youngest weavers that I know of, na Yakan weavers at 11 years old.
Yes, I saw that video, Deputy Speaker, si Kevin at si Fatima, yung dalawang bata. And I also have a photo later on, makikita nyo po na kasama ninyo yung male weaver na yon, yung batang male weaver na yon.
Okay. I will stop talking now because I will allow are designers who work closely with indigenous people, women artisans, women weavers for rural livelihoods who are designers in themselves and collaborate with them to do wearable, innovative designs. But actually, just like Marga, I also wear the authentic traditional ethnic costumes because that in itself can be worn. But today, we will listen and watch the presentations. Let's start with Len Kabili.
Hey, okay, so shall I just go through the slides and
Yes,
explain or yeah,
yes.
okay. So just a short background about the brand. It was founded in 2009. I started working with artisans 2008, but officially founded it 2009. The whole idea was really to work with artisans around the Philippines to bring to the forefront the excellent craftsmanship of our artisans belonging to cultural communities. And I think that's why I ended up thinking of a brand name that points back to the Philippines. And that's how I ended up with Filipina. The first slide is showing you one of my favorite fabrics is the piña. And on this garment, we did a full calado using a light blue embroidery. There's also, maybe you can't see it, but there's like an embossed embroidery. And I think that's one of the beauty of the piña is really how it's taken from its purest form, that when it's extracted or harvested from the leaves, the way it's extracted and it's stripped, it's dried and it's knotted and then it's woven. It's an amazing process that I don't see a lot of in other textiles around the world. The next slide, please. So let's focus on the top part, which is a yakan fabric. What we did was actually embroider on top of the hand-woven yakan fabric to bring out the design. I really love surface application. So that would be embroidery, beadwork. And I always like adding it on top of any existing hand-woven fabric. The skirt is inspired from the different patterns of the Maranao inlay. So those are shell beads that were specifically cut according to certain patterns that we specified by artisans in Cebu. And it was hand beaded on denim. The next slide, please. This is Inabel. So I did a collaboration with Balay ni Atong, and this is silk. So it's the silk mata-mata fabric. And what we did was to couple it with, add on it the beadwork from the Maranao. Again, it's from the inlay pattern of the Maranao. So I think this dress I'm quite emotionally attached to. It's the first like really formal gown that we created, and the original dress was actually with long sleeves, but we translated it into a terno for the TernoCon. I think in one dress, that's where you see the excellent, really the excellent craftsmanship of artisans around the Philippines, all in one garment. The next slide, please. I always like trying different things. So this again is in a belt, but I just to create something different, we actually had it quilted, and so it creates that sort of like flounce, and we made it reversible. I didn't include the reverse side, but it's a reversible skirt, and you see we worked with quilters from Pampanga. So this is Inabel done in a different way. Next slide, please. I grew up in Mindanao, in Iligan, and as a child, I would witness the Maranaos visiting us, and I have this retentive memory of images of them wearing the Maranao malong, and these are the colors that's from my childhood, and I think that's where my work comes from. I think it's all the love of culture that my parents instilled in me and my siblings. So the langkit is the middle part, the most central pattern is the langkit hand woven in Tugaya. For me, I love going to Tugaya. It's one of the, I think it's the only authentic artisanal village in the Philippines where you see crafts being done in wood, in hand weaving and inlay, and even brass making. It's just amazing. So again, I love embroidery. So we picked up on Maranao patterns and added embroidery on each side to kind of like, have different textures. Next slide, please. Inaul. I was invited by Congressman Magagadatu. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. To meet with the weavers a while back. I went there with Amina Rasul, and she introduced me to the Inaul fabric weavers. Again, I'm always blown away by the different traditions that we have in weaving, in embroidery and beadwork, and Inaul does not disappoint. It's just amazing how it's woven, and the whole process of just inserting the patterns into the fabric is just astounding. The next slide, please. Piña cotton. So we worked with, this is I think by, sorry, I forgot the weaver, but I think it was Irene who sold us this fabric. But I thought to do away with embroidery, but just let the beauty of the fabric stand on its own, and we took inspiration from the barong. So I think this is what we call the vegan tunic, and it's made hand woven with piña and cotton fibers. Next slide, please. Okay, so part of our initiative is the Back to the Loom project, and we built our first weaving center to benefit Yabman, one of the dream weavers in Lake Cebu, and thankfully we were able to do a photo shoot there. So the coat is the Tinalak coat, the Tinalak coat, which is traditional handwoven in Abaca. And so we've started working with them using cotton and also silk. So it's not very clear, but the pants is actually cotton, handwoven by the Yabman Weaving Center. And those are the weavers around the model. Next slide, please. Ikat. So we go up north, and this is, I work with Sami of the Ifugao group, the artisan weavers that we work with. And this is one of the weaves that they have. Again, I think we're so rich in our tradition that we have so much to be proud of, that I hope I live long enough to be able to work with as many artisans as possible. Next, please. Okay, that's me with the Balaan from Sarangani. Back like probably early 2011, I would think. Next slide, please. One of my favorite weavers, Subinalon. She's amazing, and what my favorite story about her is that every time I visit her, she would like point her lips and ask for a lipstick. So I called her the lipstick bandit, and I always made sure that every time I visit her, I would have a tube of lipstick for her. She passed away 2 years ago, and probably a week after she passed away, I received her last rose. So, yeah, which made it very special. And I'll always have fond memories of Subi. Next slide, please. So this is Yab. She always has this smiling, beautiful face. She's very sweet. She always gets very emotional when I visit her. And just probably like 3 weeks ago, I got a call from her saying, Ma'am, when are you coming to visit? And I promised that I'd visit as soon as I'm able. I'm still recovering also from an ailment. And so we're excited that we're in planning stages to build our second weaving center, and which is with the Blans. I think that's the last slide. Tagakalo, a group that's very close to my heart. An interesting story is that our first 2 meetings, we would meet halfway. And I promised them that, the next meeting I'll go visit them. They were like saying, no, it's too far. It's like 6 hours away. And I was like computing, 2 hours already to meet them halfway. Can't be that bad. Might be like a walk in the park. And so I did go. It was a 2-hour drive up the mountains. And then we started hiking for 30 minutes. And then we reached this small village. And it was quite funny because I thought that we were like almost there. We stand at the edge, and then all I could see were mountain tops. And then our guide says, so this is where it starts. It took me 7 hours to hike from that point to reach their village. It was a memorable visit, and I think we have like an interesting history, full of learning. Maybe this is not the place to share it, but they're really special to me. I think they've taught me a very important lesson as I go through the journey with Filipina.
That's so interesting, Glenn.
Yes.
Your pictures are precious, but your stories of travel, the journey, and meeting with them is perhaps even more precious. And perhaps when you sell your clothes that they make, and you make it into a designed outerwear, you could write the story so that those wearers, whether Filipinos or abroad, could feel the several hours journey into meeting them, even experiencing their culture and the days, months of weaving the textile they're wearing. And so, how have you, aside from building centers for them, I understand you've helped build them centers of their own so they can continue weaving for themselves, for you, and for other designers. Where are these exclusive artisan centers of Indigenous people that your firm, Filipina, has set up for Indigenous people?
Well, the first weaving center, which is part of our Back to the Loom program, is in Klubi in Lake Cebu. The second one that we're working on is with the Bilan. We help buy the land for them. We bought the land, but the land is technically under their name. So the next step is really designing the weaving center. We really wanted it like a place where they can rent an area where someone can come and spend a few days, learn weaving and all that, and be sustainable. So we're pushing forward with, we have certain programs. Right now, I'm in thick of launching officially our Bahay Kubo program, which you'll be very interested in. It's integrating indigenous farming methods with permaculture, and we've teamed up with Green Relief Initiative of Cebu. We've pinpointed 30 artisans to initially benefit the program, and we're, God willing, we will start it November 15 in Lake Cebu as a pilot project, but it's something that we hope will be replicated around the Philippines with the artisans that we work with. It's called the Bahay Kubo.
We will talk about that perhaps after the Zoom. That's so interesting. Lake Cebu holds a very special place in my heart for many reasons. I'm a lake dweller. I'm a water dweller. I like being by the water. But second, because the Tibolis are probably one of the first indigenous people I came in contact with as a young journalist. And third, Ilonggos and Antiqueños populate that area. If you go along Lake Cebu up to General Santos City, which is an hour and a half away, kita mo yung mga maliliit na mga bahay kubo doon na nagbebenta ng mga bras, Antiqueño, kung hindi man Ilonggo. Ayan. So, thank you, Len. I hope you can stay on. We proceed to another Davao-based and Davao-born designer. Len, you're from Iligan, right? You were born in Iligan?
Yes, I was born in Iligan and lived there until I left it for Manila for college.
Yes. And that's why you know Mindanao like the palm of your hands. And you've not forgotten Mindanao. And thank you. Salamat sa pagpaunlak mo ng kulturang Pilipino sa mga Mindanaoan, pati na rin sa mga taga-Norte at Cordilleran. You really marry the North and the South so beautifully. Thank you for that. Marga Nograles of Kaayo is another social entrepreneur in a way who works with the various tribes of Mindanao. Tell us, Marga, about your collaboration with the indigenous peoples, with the Atamanobo. Umaakyat ka ba ng mga bundok? Iniiwanan mo ba si Carlo at ang mga anak mong maliliit? At paano mo naisip ang pagtayo? You're relatively new, no? Just a few years, maybe 5 years, with your Kaayo business, which started with friends, right? With, again, sending us some of your scarves, and eventually you grew. Nakakatuwa kung paano kayo nagsisimula, lumalaki, lumalawak. Ngayon, apektado lahat ng pandemya, pero you're holding on. All of you, you're holding on. So go, girl. Okay, Marga. We see your presentation.
Senator Lauren, and thank you also, Len, for that presentation. You know, you inspire us all. I would like to share with you guys a little something about my brand, no, Kaayo Modern Mindanao. When people ask me what Kaayo is, I feel like I guess I've summarized it into 3 points. No? So first, Kaayo means kindness or goodness in Bisaya. So we had wanted to really inspire this kindness. No? Next, Kaayo, I say, is a curated collection of different Mindanao stories. So basically, we are a platform to present the treasures of my hometown. Like Senator Lauren said, I was born and raised in Mindanao. And then in setting up this brand, we had wanted to kind of share with you stories of growing up in Davao, in Mindanao. And then third, I always say Kaayo, the brand is Kaayo Modern Mindanao. It is not Marga Nograles, it is not me, because it is really the coming together of everyone, of all Mindanaoans, the weaver, the beader, the culture, the colors, the staff, our logistics providers. You know, it's really everyone coming together to bring the brand to life. No. So our brand celebrates collaborations and empowering other people to come together. So if you notice in this slide, we put together a number of indigenous tribes that we work with now. But we really just started because we wanted to give not even livelihood, just extra cash to a mother and daughter Tiboli from Lake Cebu, no? So they were coming to me to ask for help. And then I just said, you know what? Instead of just giving cash, I said, why don't you create jackets? Why don't you make jackets for me? I'll buy it. So in the beginning, I was just buying jackets for myself, right? So parang I was just giving them, buying from them just so I could help them and I had my jackets. So from there, though, people liked the jackets and then wanted me to buy more and wanted to sell in Manila and all those things. So from the extra cash, it became a little livelihood for them. And then as it became a livelihood, slowly it also became a livelihood for their community, you know, because we realized there was a demand for all things local. I mean, it was just, I think, the perfect timing. We came in when people were looking for something unique. They were looking for something that told a special story. So from there, we grew into realizing that we can help many more women's groups or many more indigenous tribes because there was a demand for it. So that was when we tapped all these other tribes. But the relationship with each tribe is different, no? Like there is no set production schedule, there is no set forecast. We really deal with the tribes one day at a time. Like with Mandaya, for instance, we work with what they have right now, or the Tagakaulo and the Blaan. We actually found them through the LGU, no. So for the Blaan, we met them through the LGU, no, and then the Tagakaulo through DTI, right? But the Atamanobo, as Senator Lauren mentioned also, the story of the Atamanobo was my mom's good friend, Tita Bebot Estanislao, had household help who she noticed was very talented. You know, she would sew and then she would do beadwork. And then she would tell my mom, you know, babes, magaling ito siya. Tingnan mo, ragod ang work na ginagawa niya, ganyan. So we said, sige, let's train her. Lo and behold, apparently, she's from the Atamanobo tribe, right? So she was saying, naku ma, marami pa kaming ganitong style that we can do for you. So back and forth, we were training with her. And then that's when our Katarina jacket was born, right? We named it Katarina because that's the name of my daughter. And I told her, I will name it Katarina because I feel this work of yours is, you know, perfect, right? So there, we work, the next slide, please. So here are some samples of how we dealt with the pandemic. No, you were asking me how is Kaayo? How is Kaayo this now that this crisis is happening to us? I would say that, you know, we are used to dealing with things one day at a time. So when the pandemic hit us, we dealt with it in phases. In the beginning, we set up a feeding program for SPMC in Davao. And then shortly after that, we were also donating PPEs. And then after that, we did a collaboration with ICA, the Immaculate Conception Academy. My daughter is from there. So the ICA alumni reached out to us and told us that they wanted to help. They wanted to do something together. So we were giving PPEs to smaller hospitals around the Philippines. No. So while this was happening, our workers did not stop weaving, they did not stop beading. So what I would tell them was, you work with what you have on hand already. You know, let's upcycle, let's recycle, let's use everything that is there, let's use it, right? So that's how our Kaayo Anywhere collection was born. So we set up a collection to kind of let people know that we will keep on going, again, to inspire. So we go back again to inspire, to let them know that, you know, we're not going to give up and we're going to keep on going. So thankfully, it has been great, you know. So if you notice, what we did was we made PPEs, like we made water repellent microfiber jumpsuits and track suits, but they are hand beaded by the Tiboli tribe. So what I did was I had the tribe make components. So they hand beaded on strips. and then we would buy the strips and we would incorporate them into our PPE. So that is what we have here, the Tiboli hand-beaded jumpsuits. And we also made matching masks, which had the Tiboli hand beading. And then next slide, please. We also worked with the Maranao through Tita Bay, Baby Alonto. So we would have them weave for us a special kind of langkit in Marawi. And that langkit we would incorporate now into our jumpsuits. So these are our Charlie Mindanao tracksuits that we call. So now the jumpsuits are a full piece. The tracksuits are a jacket and pants set. No? So it's perfect for travel, but it's really for if you have to go out, go to the grocery or all these things. That's how we parang decide. That's the idea of this collection. And so you're protected, but you also celebrate Mindanao. Next slide. So here, we also just recently set up this bag collection. So this was brought to life because I wanted a bag for myself. No, so I said, okay, if I go out, what bag should I use? You know, I want a bag that I can sanitize and, you know, throw everything in it, you know. So I decided to use the tinalak that we already had, right? And to incorporate it into a bag that we could sanitize and easily use, no? So this is our Katie bag, we call it. Each bag has a serial number. So each bag has an, because all proceeds of this bag will go to the feeding program of Move Ed Foundation. Next slide, please. Sorry, is that a not? Are you telling me that I have to hurry? So here are samples of what we have done. So this is a traditionally inspired Bagobo top that we kind of tweaked a little bit with the Bagobo hand beading. And to the right is the Atomanobo Katerina jacket. Next, please. And here, like Senator Lauren said, I like wearing traditional pieces because, again, we're here to celebrate Mindanao and what is originally the tribes. So we make that available also to you. But we mix it with modern, you know, like now I'm wearing the traditional jacket, but I'm also wearing palazzo white pants, high waist pants, right? Next. And the Mandaya at one point, maybe a year ago, we did a collaboration with a former teacher of the Mandaya. She actively promotes Mandaya culture and arts. So what we did was we had them make components again. So they weaved patches for us that we incorporated into linen long sleeves. I think that's it, no?
Thank you very much, Marga. It's so interesting. And I recall that yung scarves mo is at Tagakaulo.
Yes, no, that is at Tangkulo, the Bagobo, it's Bagobo Tagabawa, Senator. We started also with that. Yes.
You know that Christian Lagarde, the IMF managing director, I gifted her with that.
I remember. Yes, the purple one.
She's now the head of the European Central Bank, and it was in Washington during a courtesy call. I gave her that. Ang ginaw nun, and because when she came to the Philippines, I accompanied her to the pearl market for our Muslim traders in Green Hills. And I know she likes things Mindanaoan. And kay Len Kabili naman, yung Filipina, si Aung San Suu Kyi liked the Calado barong I was wearing, but I gifted her with unmade tela, but she liked what I was wearing. So I had to order for several months na ginawa ng Filipina that was sent all the way to Myanmar. So I'm proud to say that some of your products are with women who are in influential positions in the world. Now, after having seen how Filipina and Kaayo, with its two designers and entrepreneurs, give sustenance, livelihood to our indigenous people, I'd like to know, how are you holding on? Hindi mo pinabayaan ang inyong mga artisans, Marga. You let them continue and innovate with your outerwear, PPEs, and all of that, no? Mm-mm. And hoping that by next year, things will normalize and the market will be better. Is that correct, Marga?
Yes, yes. It's a big responsibility that we have for other tribes more than others, no? But like, let's say with the Tiboli mother and daughter, with Elena and Gigi, their sole livelihood is really kaayo, so they really depend on us. So we always constantly creatively have to think of how we can keep on going. So I keep telling them, go, just keep on going, we'll figure it out. So one day at a time, Senator. No, we don't know what tomorrow will bring us. We don't know what next year will bring us. But whatever we have now, let's use it. Let's work with it. Let's not give up because let's just not.
That's true. One day at a time. Starting today, all my kaayo, all my Filipina, all my Abel, all my I will wear it every day because
Senator, I
sometimes
was saying we can do a show with your pieces, no? When this is all done, we can collaborate with you, all of us, all of the designers here with your pieces. Fashion show. I would love to kind of
kulang ang isang oras sa atin sa dami-dami. From Mindanao, we proceed now to the Abel Weavers, okay? So, it's ang hirap kong sabihin, paborito ko lang ang isang lugar eh. Ako'y Antiqueño, I love the Patanjong. And I will get later, I could brush up and see and show you my 100-year-old Patanjong. But, ang nanay ko na nagpalaki sa akin ay taga Batak at Paway, Ilocos Norte. Kaya halos tanghalian na, sabihin ko, mangantayon. Kaya ako'y pupunta sa isa sa mga batang designer entrepreneur natin na si Nina Corpus Rodriguez para pakita ang kanyang mga accomplishments as a young designer entrepreneur using Abel.
Yes, Ma'am Lauren, maraming salamat. And thank you also to all those who presented, Ms. Len, of course, Marga. I've been really inspired in watching your work ever since. And I've been buying from our local designers even before I had this. So Nina Inabel is a brand that I created it in 2017. So we are quite young, just 3 years old. It's something that I never planned on doing. As some of you know, my profession was broadcasting all my life. Hindi ako ganun kabata. I started in 2000, so imagine 2020 na ngayon. Nadoble na yung edad ko from 2000. So this happy accident happened, and now we are here. Next slide, please. Okay, so there I am interviewing the farmers in Ilocos Norte, the cotton farmers who were talking about, Ma'am Lauren. And then from doing that, I suddenly find myself doing shows, something super new to me. So slide number 3. I grew up in Ilocos Norte, so I'm quite familiar with the fabric. It's been used all over the household, from curtains to runners, blankets, and yes, costumes. When I was a student, it was also our uniform. And a lot of times, imbis na medal, lalagay nila yung parang Inabel na medal. And, dati, it used to be considered, diba, baduy or luma. But because of this love, because of our renewed love for local movement going on now, we're calling this the Philippine Fashion Revolution. We showed everyone that traditional fabrics like Inabel, well, hindi lang pala siya gamit sa bahay, kundi pang fashion, as Ma'am Lauren has showed us. Next slide, please. So these are just some of the stuff we've done for the past, 2 years actually. Kasi nung una kasi I was really just going to do one show, but then yun na nga, nanganak na siya ng nanganak. And now, ito na po yung ginagawa namin. Sa mga hindi nakakaalam ng Abel, sa mga hindi pa masyadong familiar, let me just show you some examples of the Inabel designs. Next slide. Ito po yung binandera or cantarines, ang tawag naming mga Ilocano. Para sa akin, ito na yung pinakasimpleng Inabel design, consisting of, as you can see, stripes. Minsan nasa gilid siya, minsan nasa gitna, or all over the fabric. I source them from, where Ma'am Lauren is from, Paway, Ilocos Norte. Kung kailangan ko ng sturdier at stiffer fabrics, But for softer silhouettes, like the one on the right, I use the ones from Abra because they're soft and smooth on the skin. And a lot of them also still use the natural dye like indigo. So number 6, slide please. Ito naman yung binakol. So palagi ko to sinasabi, ano ba yung binakol niya? Ito siya. Ito actually ang aking paboritong design ng Inabel. It's characterized by its whirlpool pattern called the kusikus. They're often described as op art because of the optical illusion created by its interlocking geometric designs. So it gives you that psychedelic visual experience. I love using the binakul of Sarat in Ilocos Norte because they're sturdy and they actually use thread from excess denim fabric. So they are recycled or upcycled. Next slide, please. And what's becoming more popular now is the pinilyan from Santiago in Ilocos Sur. It's identified as brocade-like weaves and can be quite elaborate with figures of diamonds, nature, and animals. I use them from casual to more formal designs. So the other designs that I use, I call them my premium Inabel. So next slide. Of course, they're done by, as Ma'am Lauren has mentioned, Gawad Manlilika awardee and national living treasure at 97 years old, one of our oldest weavers, or if not the oldest, no, sinasabi nila na Inabel weaver, si Magdalena Gamayo. Her town in Pinili was the first weaving community we helped, and it was spearheaded by Dr. Hoven Kwanang. So during that time, that was in 2017, nung sinabi niyang gumawa tayo ng show, we were not just helping the weavers, but also the farmers who were encouraged to shift from planting tobacco to cotton, which were turned into thread that the weavers use to weave the fabric. So we call it from farm to fabric to fashion. In fact, was it 2 years ago, we had an exhibit in SM Aura to showcase to the public the abel that was produced from that farm using the cotton from the farm. So it was really extra soft, and it was really super, very nice to the touch, and well, quite expensive also. That's the downside, but we were able to sell during the time because a lot of the people who came also appreciated the fact that this came from the farm. So when the pandemic arrived, it hit us hard like everyone else. Well, good thing I'm just a very small business compared to, I'm sure, to my peers here. No, so my losses are also small, but it's still a loss. So, and because everyone was suffering, and I saw all these designers donating PPEs left and right, and I thought, anong pwede ko kayang gawin para makatulong? Kasi maliit lang ako, parang dalawa lang yung mananahi ko, nagkasakit pa yung isa. So ano kayang pwede kong gawin? So next slide, please. I started to make face masks. Actually, not to sell, but to donate to the frontliners, the doctors in particular. I had a health show, so I was in touch with all the medical societies and very close to a lot of our doctors. So I just said, I wanted to give them these face masks just to make them feel good, feel better naman while they're doing their job and, laying their lives on the line. But it's not just your ordinary mask. I made it water repellent. It's actually reversible. It has a nose grip. You can adjust the strap. So I made it like masasabi mo para siyang couture mask para sa mga doktor. And so the doctors started posting their photos online in their clinics. So ito yung face mask namin. And so then I got bombarded with orders, which was really, at the time, unexpected din kasi talagang for donation lang siya. Kasi sabi ko, paano pa ako magtitinda? Sa totoo lang, I could not also sell, clothes that are a little more pricey siguro, and what will they wear it for? Everyone's on a lockdown. So I wasn't really planning on selling, but then people were ordering, and it was such a pleasant surprise. So that was my pivot from selling high value products to fewer customers. Then we began selling face masks to more customers. We actually reached our target sales and even surpassed them sometimes. So Next slide. And recently, we started selling PPE wrap dresses and with Inabel and the trench coats that protect you. We market them there kasi tag-ulan na, no? They protect you not just from the rain, but also from the virus. So, yes, so that's how we're trying to survive this pandemic. And at this point, I'll just stop talking and let this short AVP of Nina Inabel tell you more about our story.
Thank you, Nina. We watch the AVP now, prepared by Nina.
Yes.
I love dressing up my kids. Tell me the colors and the patterns that you like. You show mom. What
I like this one.
This one. To me, they are living dolls, and I would always look for design inspiration online. This is Catarines. It means stripes in Ilocano.
I super love the pattern.
I was always into loving local, and so I thought, why don't I make their clothes using local fabric? And so I did. Somebody took notice, and it was no other than the owner of Pinto Museum and patron of the arts, Dr. Hoven Kwana. At that time, he had started a project to give livelihood to the Ilocano Inabel weavers and gathered other Ilocanos to help further his vision of reviving the industry. It was serendipitous. Suddenly, everything seemed to fall into place. Now, I had a chance to showcase a part of my roots with my children as my models. What started as a typical story about a mom playing dress up with her kids soon unraveled to reveal a new, exciting chapter in my life. Nina Inabel is more than just another clothing line. It's about the beauty and tradition, the style and creation, and that wonderful bond between members of the community. When my customers give me feedback by writing me a personal letter, I never expected them to do that. Recently, I met a client online, and after she ordered 5 face masks, I found out that she's a patrol woman in Samar. She told me she felt so beautiful wearing our Inabel face mask while she was in the line of duty wearing her fatigue uniform, giving out COVID flyers to the community. Another unforgettable moment was when one of the weaving community sent me a text message and she said, "Maraming salamat, ma'am. Ngayon meron na po kaming pambili ng bigas." I had no words. I was just really, really touched. These top Inabel moments have given me newfound purpose in life. Who would have thought that I'd changed my career at 40? But then recently, someone told me that nothing happens by accident. God has a purpose. And if this is one of His purpose, who am I to say no?
Thank you, Nina. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
thank you for sharing with us both the pictures and your experiences in your 3-year-old enterprise. It's amazing how, as a mother, as a journalist, and as a social entrepreneur, you're able to help our farmers. Here, I actually have a list of those farms that I funded when I was in the Senate. I hope you're referring to the Pinili Ilocos Norte farmers when you said that
Yes.
you the cotton. You showed us a picture of you visiting the farmers in Pinili, Ilocos Norte. Yun ba yun?
Yes. Yes, yun, Ma'am Lauren. Not sure lang kung yung ginawa niyo with Dr. Kwanang, pareho po ba yun? Kasi yung ginawa namin doon that time, 3 hectares siya nag-umpisa. Tapos at the time, in 2017, from 3 hectares, naging 20 hectares. So gumawa pa nga ako ng report for TV Patrol that time and also Bandila. So I really wanted to promote what we were
Yes.
doing for Ilocos.
So ang ginagamit mong cotton ay hindi imported cotton, kung hindi mismong tinatanim ng Ilocano, ina-harvest ng Ilocano, ginning and spinning is done in Ilocos up to the weaving hanggang sa pagdisenyo mo ng mga damit at blusa. Ganun ba yon? Yes.
Ma'am Lauren, that's the ideal situation. No? Unfortunately, not for all because not everyone can afford the one that comes from the farm because it makes it so a bit more expensive. And actually, that's what we want people to do, or the local governments to do, to sana support this endeavor. Really, put money there so that we can do it. Because I would rather get it from the farm than import thread because that's the reality now that's happening, and it comes from China and India, and the ideal situation is to really get it from the farm. And we showed that we could do it, and we just really need more support.
So hindi lahat ng cotton na
Hindi
ginagamit ng Abel weavers mo ay galing sa Pinili, Ilocos Norte, and perhaps in the Ilocos farms. Yes, that's the challenge. Yun ang dahilan din kung bakit sinusuportahan ko ang budgetary support sa Department of Agriculture, more specifically sa PhilSIDA, para sa pag-establish ng more cotton farms na makakakinabangan ng ating mga farmers and designers as well. Well, from the Ilocos region, we go back. Thank you very much, Ninya.
Thank you.
Maganda ang puting Abel mo. Maganda yan. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. I hope you can stay on and listen to your other colleagues, friends, co-designers. The others have been there longer than you. The others are new, but all with equally the same passion and fervor. Thank you. And Louis Lobregat, isa pang bata. We will not age ourselves, okay? Si Celso, ang kanyang papa, ang aking kaibigan. Kaibigan ko rin si Louis. And just like all of our designers and entrepreneurs here, she works directly. And this time, with the Yakan weavers. Sana may litrato ka ng ating Yakan village na aking kinayo through NCCA and the local government. And just to inform Len Cabili, Marga Nograles, Nina Corpus, and Louis Lobregat, later with Elsie and with Jorel, please tell me the needs of your weavers. Tell me the needs of the embroiderers. Tell me the needs of your dressmakers, because we can work with the agencies of government, Department of Labor, DTI, NCCA, and many more, so that we can help them in terms of puhunan, equipment, design, marketing, and outright financial or cash assistance during this pandemic. My staff are listening. These webinars are not just for there's a show in there. Well, I used to come from television, but this is more of a consultative process so that I will be able to reach out more and help more, to give Dole Tupad, cash for work, to give Dole Pangkabuhayan, capital assistance for 20 up to 40,000 per individual or association, and to give reading centers, which I've established in Antique. And I'm also building right now a cotton facility in Patnongon, where all of you can access the cotton output of the facility. May also invite you to access the pineapple weave in Tibiao, Antique, and the natural dye center that was set up in Barangay Bagsason and Bugasong, and the natural dye center that will be set up in Tibiao. So these are government projects, and in the respective localities that you are establishing or have established your businesses, tell me, huwag kayong mahiya. Una, magkaibigan. Pangalawa, ay tulungan natin ang grassroots at rural livelihood para sa panahon ng pandemya, kita nila may pag-asa ang kanilang buhay. We proceed now to the Yakan village, and Louis Lobregat of Linea Ethnica will show us her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker Lauren, and good morning again. I have very high respect for my friends who have spoken before me, to Len, Marga, and Nina. Kudos to you for what you do, and I'm happy that we're on the same side. Okay, next slide. I think it's very important that the name is really pronounced correctly because it says a lot about the brand. And my father's gonna be so kilig because he helped me conceptualize the name Linea Ethnica. So it's called Linea Ethnica because linea in Spanish means line, and in Chabacano, which is spoken in Zamboanga City, it means the same thing. And ethnica, comes from the word ethnic, which refers to the indigenous weaves that we make use of on our products. So Linea Ethnica is a social enterprise. It is a heritage brand. It's also a very young company. We are 4 years old. Next slide, please. And it's powered by women. Okay, so I was once asked, why do you do what you do? And maybe just a bit of background. Like Nina, this wasn't also part of my long term plan. I was a banker by profession, and somehow, serendipitously, I also ended up doing this. So I was asked, why do you do what you do? And my reply was, my heritage inspires me to create products that make weaves mainstream and celebrate the stories of the hands and hearts that make them. This process becomes more meaningful when we collaborate with communities, empowered through dignity of work and respect of culture. When we build relationships that add value, and when we do things with gratitude, which make the Filipino shine. So this slide encapsulates the brand values of Linea Ethnica: communities, relationships, empowerment, gratitude, and Filipino. And you might be wondering, why is there a photo of this woman on that slide? So my brand is inspired by heritage, and I say that because this woman that you see is my grandmother. She is Maria Clara Lorenzo Lobregat, fondly called as Tita Kaling by many. My lola was from Zamboanga City, and she was the first woman mayor in the city. So she started the relationship that I have now with the Yakan community, which I'm currently nurturing with care and caution. Next slide, please. So I speak about the Yakan people in Zamboanga City because the Yakan people are originally from Basilan. So in the 1970s, some of them migrated to Zamboanga City due to political unrest, and that has become an advantage for the very diverse culture of Zamboanga because they've now become part of Zamboanga's culture. Next slide, please. So here you see our master weaver, who is a national living treasure, Osalin Ambalang. She is now 77 years old and she lives in Basilan. Could we please play the video? So the weaving method for the Yakan weaves is the backstrap loom weaving. They put more than 100,000 meters of thread on their loom, right? And it takes them 3 to 4 days just to stretch all the thread, and another 3 to 4 days just to weave a meter. So the full loom is about 21 meters, and it takes 3 months to complete the whole thing. We also see some photos of the Yakan weaves here, and their designs are inspired by nature. So they have different names for them. You have the saputangan, you have the usual tenun, you see the bunga, which is the typical weave that you see most of the time. But their designs are really inspired by nature. And in the past, to weave their designs, to weave the fabric, they would make use of natural fibers. but also to make it more commercially viable, they've started using a cotton blend for the thread. Next slide, please. So our creations, here you'll see two of our creations which show you the spectrum of our Linea Ethnica designs. Always still very elegant and somehow still really allows you to bring you out of what you're wearing. So we have the coraza, which is very edgy, and coraza in Spanish means armor. So this is our armor of strength and love and positivity. And on the other end, you have the La Mariposa top, which is a very classic top, which I am also wearing today. Next slide, please. So we have been really pushing forward to make weaves mainstream. And through the help of our Linea Ethnica women, we make this happen. So here are some of our women wearing some of the Linea Ethnica designs. So, in the span of 4 years, we started with clothing, we tried out shoes, we did some accessories, but in the end, it's still really the clothing line that we're very much focused on. Next slide, please. So Linea Ethnica really embraces slow fashion. Things are purposely made to last. And we do this because we believe that the process of making the fabric and the process of producing whatever it is that you're wearing is a process that really needs to be respected. We always strive for zero waste. We have upcycled and repurposed some of our products, and we will continue to do this in our capacity. So here are just some examples of our story that has been shared and showcased. Next slide, please. So here you go, Deputy Speaker Lauren. I am showing some of the photos of how together with your assistance, and I also have to thank my father who couldn't say no to his only daughter, have been able to really help bring sustainable progress and development to the city. We rehabilitated two weaving centers. We improved the drainage system. We turned over 8 high-speed sewing machines. We cemented a footpath, which, like you said earlier, parating muddy, yung mga bata parating, they end up slipping. So we also cemented the path, landscaped the surroundings, and also we concretized the fence around the village and put a welcome arch. So, Deputy Speaker, and to those who are watching, I know that Linea Ethnica is a small company, but I'd like to believe that we have a very big heart and a strong conviction to make this happen. And all of this happens because of all the assistance that we get from the government and people like you, Deputy Speaker Lauren, who believe in what we do. Next slide, please. So, an interesting story is because we rehabilitated the weaving center, the children have been very ganado to weave. And here you have a photo of our male weaver who was with you during the 19th episode of your event, of your Facebook Live event. And then I'm showing you, Deputy, earlier you said you heard that the youngest weaver is 11 years old, right? So we know of like little kids who started learning at age 6. And here's a really I like this photo very much because it really shows how tradition is passed on from Salma, who's the Lola teaching her granddaughter. And I also have my son Gabby in the photo. Next slide, please. So what underpins everything we do really is cultural preservation. And as we do this, we've somehow become community ambassadors for the Yakan people in Zamboanga City. We continue to teach people about the Yakan tribe. I've gone to schools, like I've gone to SOFA, to Xavier, to LaSalle, spoken to the students, asked them how many have been to Zamboanga City, and very few will say they have. Ask them, do they know about the Yakan people, and very few will say they have. So that's what we do. And in terms of education as well, we work with the community to help them with product development. So we always have camaraderie and events, like just getting together with the Yakan people. And I so miss them very much because I haven't gone back to Zamboanga since this pandemic started. And my father he chose to get locked down in Zamboanga City. So I haven't seen him either. We do sell with impact because we believe that it's more than just the buying of the fabric, but it's also the giving back to the community. So here you see an example of our Yakan pledge box, which we sold, and 100% of the profits went to the community. We also have gift giving activities for the community. Next slide, please. So, how did we adapt to this pandemic? Creatively, we've been adapting and adjusting. Here you see photos of the face masks, which were made by our weavers in Zamboanga City. And I like to tell this story because this story was really something that, I felt inspired the weavers to do this because when things started, it felt like what was happening. There was nobody going to the village, hardly anybody was buying, but we encouraged them to produce face masks. So they've gone through 3 versions of the face masks. This is the third version. And their first big order of 500 pieces was purchased by a patron. And after that, to this day, they're selling the masks directly, and I'm very, very proud of them. Apart from the face masks, we've also been able to assist them with financial assistance. And we also send them food. Some, of course, they continue to weave, like Marga was saying, they continue to weave. That's always going to be there. But they've also found alternative means of livelihood for this period. Yakan people are known as herdsfolk. So some of them have gone into farming. Others have gone into cooking and preparing meals. And so what we do is we also buy from them to share with the community. Next slide. I'd also like to take this opportunity to share with everybody that we are launching a home line, which we call Linea Etnica Casa. So here are some examples of the products that we will be carrying. This is still in very early stages. We are still prototyping and we hope to be able to come up running soon. But I'm showing you some examples of what we can do with the beautiful handloom Yakan weaves from Zamboanga City. And this is going to cater to domestic divas, to plantitas, and to the clutter queens. Next slide. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much, and more power to all of us.
I'm so happy to see our Yakan village and your weavers, both young and old, men and women, and how you have socially adapted and not close shop, and the collaboration you do with our Yakan weavers. In everything we see, from the beginning, from Len's presentation up to yours, up to the north in the Ilocos region with Nina, we see the closeness. It's not just a matter of buying tela somewhere, cutting it up, having a design, selling it in a trade fair or even online. We see how you've invested time, resources, collaborated with government and local government and agencies to build better lives. And so, natutuwa ako na yung mga natulungan ko sa mga nakaraang taon ay nagbunga. And just to clarify, the Yakan village is not solely for Linea Etica, right? It is for the public. The Yakan village has been there for decades.
Yes.
Bata pa akong journalist, nagpupunta na ako dyan, but my frustration always was magabok o kaya pag umuulan, tumutulo. Kaya sabi ko, papagawa ko yan. And that's the reason why I put funding through NCCA. So thank you for making it work for a while and continue what you're doing. I actually have an idea, but I'll get to that later because I have so much. And when you said about everything goes to helping in the pandemic, maybe I should sell half of what I have, not for me, but 100% I will give it to a dedicated hospital or to purchase PPEs or maybe to give it as part of SAP social amelioration package. But anyway, with that idea, we proceed now to, is it Jorel is next? We have Jorel Espina from Zamboanga. We now proceed to Jorel. Are you ready now?
Hi.
Yes, Jorel of the bomber jacket as well as the maong. Uh, hmm. After Jorel, we are still in the island of Panay and we will proceed with our patajong. Yes, ayan. Si Jorel mahilig sa kulay,
Yes.
pampahappy. Ayan.
Yes.
Okay, proceed.
I will give you a fast background of the brand. So I started in the designing career in 2007, so it's more likely 15 years now. Then I'm really fascinated with these local fabrics even before. So 5 years ago, I started with my ready to wear line, which is I really want to represent also my my heritage in Iloilo, so which we have the hand woven fabric, which is what you call hablon, and it's also the nearby municipalities where we have in Antique and we have Piña from Aklan. So next slide, please. So in this photo or our creation, so that's a piña, a skirt, and that's a raffled skirt. So normally, I really want to inject a very feminine style in my pieces, and the other one is the piña, and it's actually a traditional barong. So I really want to deconstruct things. I really want to deconstruct the pieces. So that's what we call vestina. So it's a vest made of barong. So when you see it, it's like an open end on both sides and you tie it at the back part. So it's normally you can wear that with a formal or even casual. So you can wear it with a black shirt or a jeans, or if you want to dress it up, you can wear it with a skirt or a ball skirt. So our pieces are usually you can wear it in formal and in casual. Next slide, please. So in this photo are our signature bamarong. So it evolves in the bamarong actually is a portmanteau of bomber jacket, which is the sportswear, and the barong. So we call it bamarong. So a friend of mine named it bamarong. Why not? It's catchy and it's witty to call it bamarong. So it's bamarong, and it's when people message us or even ask us what is bamarong all about. So that I explained it as bomber and barong. And on the other photo is the Miss Universe Catriona Gray, which is also a supporter of the local fabrics and crafts. She wore a bamarong terno. So on the year after, we evolved on the terno. So more on the feminine side naman siya. And at the same time, the other one, that's the other photo, she wore that jacket when she's going to New York to continue her reign. Next photo, please. So in this pandemic naman, just like, we were all staying at home and nothing to do. So I imagined also, why not create something different? So we have a lot of stocks before the pandemic. So what will I do with this? And it's, the demand of the clothing line right now is less because no one is going to the parties or events. So we have this we made this bag. So we called it Bayong Tagalog naman. So it's bayong because it's a tote bag, and that's typically the shape of our bayong. If you remember that, the bayongs of our lolas when you go to the market, and it's made of barong actually. So it's Bayong Tagalog. Next slide, please. So on the middle part, that is what we call the Marong Tagalog. So it's Marong because it's Maong and Barong. So if you remember that I told you earlier that this piece is actually made of stained barong. There are times that we cannot use barong anymore to our bomber jackets, so we deconstruct it and put it in a maong shirt and as a patch. Next photo, please. So the other photo is our campaign during the launch of our brand in 2005. So this is one by that is as that the first photo is a tispina. So it's made of a hablon, which is basically woven here in Iloilo. The community that I work is with Miagao and in Oton. And the next part is also hablon. So we tried making barong made of hablon also. So that's the one in the middle and the third part. So there are times that we can that we inject also 100% Philippine cotton, but you know, Ma'am Lauren, there are times that lack of supply, because you know there are times that you know there are they cannot buy that they cannot buy a Philippine cotton because it's more expensive than the cotton that we import internationally. Next photo, please. This one, the other photo naman, we usually work with the different indigenous fabrics also around the Philippines. Just like what Tim said, I love colors. I really love colors because that's really the DNA of the brand. So I also like to mix different textures or different patterns like the inabal. We have the cantarinis also, we have the yakan, and we have the fabrics from Cordillera. And the other one is we have the hablon and Panay Bukidnon embroidery, which is, you know, it's a combination of two communities most of the time. And the skirt that we made is we have that from Marawi. Next photo, please. Same thing also, you know, the play of patterns is always the DNA of the brand. So we like to do and beading and make it modern and streetwear at the same time. Next photo, please. So these are the photos of the embroiderers that I work with. They're from Lumban. And I also like to share, Ma'am Lauren, about the story of that. You know, I went to Lumban 2 years ago to look for an embroiderer to supply for my needs of barongs. So I went to this place, I went to this one place. So I asked them, sabi ko, ano ba, this is a government funded, or sabi niya, sir, no, we are private. So yung pinuntahan ko pala na yon, she's a parang head of the community. So should I say na parang she's a middleman. So the process is I will order from her, then she will designate all the work sa communities niya, because in that place and that whole barangay, there are many households na gumagawa ng embroidery. So kahit sino doon, kahit bata, nanay, kapatid, gumagawa na ng borda. So okay, so when the next house that I went to, sabi niya, sir, actually gumagawa kami for her. So sabi ko, ikaw, what are you doing? Sabi ko sa kanya, because this woman is this is an old woman and may pamangkin siya, and she has a sister who was suffering with cancer during the time. And I'm very happy that I'm one of the person who helped her. Then sabi niya, sir, wala kaming ginagawa. We're just waiting for that woman to send us work. So sabi ko naman, bakit hindi na lang ako didiretso sa inyo at sa inyo na lang ako magpagawa? So what we did po was, so this manang, so sabi ko, can you quote me a barong and we'll make something like this? I will make a design. We'll recreate the design that you already have and the design that already existing. So we started the project. So order. So ang dami ng orders and all. And good thing, alam niyo po, sabi niya, sir, hindi na namin kayang order mo kasi sobrang dami. So they extended the order to their neighborhood. So on that time that we had an order, nagkaroon na rin sila ng sariling community. And yet, sabi ko, so okay, so this will be gumawa tayo ng libro. So through online yon, because I cannot go to Lumban most of the time because I usually fly to Manila and Iloilo twice a month or even 3 times a month. So I cannot go there. Sabi niya, sir, you know why? Sabi niya, sir, babalita lang namin sa inyo na a portion of the amount that you're paying with us, nakagawa na kami ng cooperative, and at the same time we have a bank account already. So I'm happy to know that they already opened a bank account, na nagbukas na sila ng bank account for their group, and at the same time they have they have a savings at the same time. So in that initiative, parang okay, so now I realize na pwede naman pala regardless of I'm far or of kahit gaano kaliit or kalaki yung orders. And in God's grace naman, tuloy-tuloy naman ang order namin until pandemic. Actually, before pandemic, we did a uniform for PMA, which they ordered us 300 bomber jackets as uniforms. So parang okay, sabi ko, kamusta after pandemic? Okay pa ba tayo and all? So sabi nila, sir, wala na. And later on, they asked naman, sir, ano bang kaya natin gawin? Next slide, please. So this naman, so aside from, of course, we have this less of an event right now. So our brand also ventured into home. So we have this trace also made of barong. That's made of barong. That's also from Lumban. And we have, so usually, ano din siya, dalawang community din. So they send it here. I made a design, they send it here, then have it sent to the makers of the wooden makers. And the middle part is acrylic. So it's acrylic tray made of barong, and the other side naman, that is what we call the mascarong Tagalog, because it's a face mask made of barong. Okay, next slide, please. Well, that's our Deputy Speaker, Lauren Ligarda. She's wearing our bamarong when she went to, I think that's in Portugal, if I'm not mistaken, ma'am.
That was in Lisbon, Portugal, during the opening of the Hibla traveling exhibition, my project with the National Museum, where we brought the Lumban weavers and Aklan weavers to Lisbon for 1 week. And the Ticaw Antique weavers were brought to Geneva. There were other destinations. We can have another show on that. That was the jacket that was first gifted to me by my BFF, Nancy Bina, who always watches and joins us on Stories for a Better Normal.
Yes, thank you. Okay, next photo, please. Okay, that's another version of our mascarong Tagalog. So it's a scarf. So that's a different version. And it's a combination of our panuelo and the mask. So diba, if you want it formal and a little bit of, wearing still Filipino with a shirt or even with a Filipiniana, that's really in. So it's, in this pandemic, we really have to innovate things, never stop, just like what Marga said, because we do not know what will happen tomorrow. We still have to continue. And, I myself also a supporter of these brands. I also admire these brands. I also have pieces from Kaayo, from Linnea Ethnica, and even Philippine Ina, and even Marie by, my friend also Susan. And I also admire the things, parang hindi ko kasi siya iniisip na we are a competition, but I really want also to show my support to these other brands. As a designer, parang, we still have to create more things. Marami pa tayong magagawa. And if these things, we can do it together, I think it will be more competitive in a sense that it's in a global setting naman, not here in the Philippines, because in the Philippines we already have so many talents, so many crafts that we can share. Okay, next slide, please.
Sinabi mong yan, totoo yan.
Yes.
We are, you're all supporting each other, and we buy all of you. I want to maybe sell some of what I have, but everything will go back 100% to a dedicated community with full accounting to buy PPEs and to help COVID patients. It's a good idea.
Yes, that's
exactly. Yung mga panay bukid doon sa Kalinog, Iloilo,
Yes, that's in Calinog, Iloilo. That's my first visit in Panay Bukidnon. So Panay Bukidnon, they are the ethnic tribe in the Visayas and the only existing tribe. So they are also called Panay Suludnon, which is meaning to say they are in the rural areas or in the mountains. So that's my first visit there when I also designed my pieces for a show with them and until now I'm still working with them, so I will be launching a home line from them soon. Okay, next slide please. So I think this is for the final look. So basically the looks that I am showing now is a collection that is really a modern type, not the because I in our brand kasi we don't want to see it don't want to see the fabrics na pang cortina lang siya or pang throw pillow lang siya, just like yun na yung nakasanayan natin before na you can only wear those fabrics if it's buwan ng wika or if it's you can only wear barong if you're going to a wedding or a formal occasion. But now it's a different time. We are in a different time. And that's what we call the revival. That's why we're here, designers, entrepreneurs. We are here to revive these fabrics and give high respect to these fabrics that we have now and existing before. We are free naman to create these things. We are free to do and work different colors and patterns, but we have to respect still the craft of our ancestors, and still the tradition will continue.
Thank you very much. With that photo of so many beautiful, colorful designs using hindi lang pala Panay ang ginagamit mo, kundi na rin sa Lumban, Laguna na ginagamit din. Siguro kaya sinabing marami silang ginagawa dahil si Len Kabili rin ginagamit ang mga pinya kalado na mga taga Lumban, Laguna. Ito yata Lumban itong aking ginagamit, no? Huwag niyo kakalimutan ang Tibiao Antique. Gumagawa na sila sa weaving center na aking tinayo dahil namatay na yung industriya ng pinya at saka ng patadyong sa Tibiao. Pero nagtayo tayo ng 2 weaving center at soon to rise a natural dye center. Since malapit ka lang doon, Jor-El, pwedeng doon ka na pumunta sa Tibiao.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, we have also a weaving community that is developing a pinya and a polyhem fabric in Capiz. So that's the same travel time from, if you are in Iloilo, it's the same travel time from Iloilo to Antique and Iloilo to Capiz. 2 hours lang.
Very good. May I request, Jor-El, only pag makakalabas ka, pag safe, pag hindi mataas ang COVID, to visit the first weaving center that I established in Miagao in 1998. Nagtayo ako ng, hindi ko alam kung nandun pa yon, nagtayo ako ng Hablon Weaving Center in 1998. I think I was able to secure funding assistance from the New Zealand government, if I'm not mistaken. Nandun pa yon sa Miagao. Anyway, we proceed now to my home province of Antique with its very young designer, Susan Marie Liao. Her sister and she, Christine Marie, have set up patadyong blouses as a business that has since grown into collaboration with an embroiderer from San Pedro, from Barangay Bugtasan Weavers to San Pedro Embroiderers, at ngayon, hindi lang blusa ang ginagawa, gumagawa na rin ng mga home accessories gaya ng mga throw pillows. May we have the Marie line, please. Or maybe the internet connection in Antique is not stable because she was with us earlier. I'm sorry that we had to take more than 2 hours. We proceed first. Oh, is Susan Marie with us?
Yeah, hi, good morning, Senator Lauren again. So I'm here to present our brand.
Very good.
Designs by Marie. So again, good morning, fellow designers, guests, and to all the viewers of this very educational webinar. So my name is Susan Marie Liao, and our brand is Designs by Marie, a brand that my sister Christine Marie started way back in 2015. Why Marie? We actually named our brand from our second name, Susan Marie and Christine Marie. Next slide, please. So Designs by Marie is uniquely created for the modern Maria and is proudly made in Antique. So we offer trendy casual apparels and home essentials. So my sister Christine Marie and I started it back in 2015. Actually, we grew up with much inspiration from our mom, whose love for the arts, culture, and heritage made us to fuse our talent and passion for design in creating this sustainable brand, especially in helping our province, Antique. As you all know, my mom collects patajong fabrics ever since. She uses this in our home. So Senator Lauren knows about this. So she has a lot of fabrics, and the weavers, they usually go to our house and they would sell it to my mom, and then she buys it by bulk. So that's where our inspiration came from. So from there, we found an opportunity to help them, the weavers especially, to develop and produce hand-woven products or hand-woven fabrics that are contemporary in design. Next slide, please. So our brand, it's a sustainable brand that has a tribute to our beloved province, Antique. So we are tradition plus fashion, yet we have a local global as an outlook. So it's more of empowering Antiqueño artisans and continuously supporting their livelihood. If you can see in this slide, this is what we call our Marie scarf. So everything is made out of hand-woven fabric from the base and to the retazo. So these are all retazos from our blouses, from our home essentials. So we made it into a scarf so that we can really use all the extra, the cuts from the fabrics. Next slide, please. So these are our photos of our Marie weavers. These are current ones. Actually, they are weaving our Christmas collection. So it's, as you can see, it's more of the green and reds. So at present, we have about 3 to 5 weavers, and we provide them with their own tirals. All of them are from Barangay Bugtason, Bugasong, Antique, and they are all really dedicated weavers. So we are happy that our brand creates a sustainable livelihood for these weavers. We learn from them in terms of weaving, and at the same time, we also teach them the important things like color mixing, quality control, and also on the entrepreneurial side, we teach them like forecasting, time management, and the like. So aside from weaving, as what Deputy Speaker mentioned, we also incorporated hand embroidery to our products. We have this set of artisans from Barangay San Pedro here in San Jose, Antique, who has been doing, or they have been doing hand embroidery ever since, or for how many years? Next slide, please. So as everything around us is evolving, traditions can sometimes be forgotten, like the art of weaving. So as Filipinos, we are always inspired by our culture and heritage. We are also part of today's evolution. So my sister and I dreamed of a modern take on the patterns of the classic patajongs. So we wanted to put it back into the spotlight with a contemporary touch. So how do we design? We take inspiration from the intricate and creative process of weaving and from the skills of the weavers. So my sister, basically, she mostly does the pattern design. It's where she starts by choosing bold colors and mixing up with other subdued colors. And from there, she creates a series of color palette that are all heavily inspired by the patajong. So our philosophy actually is, it goes for the simple and elegant, yet playful with colors and patterns. Next slide. So these are our current collection, actually. If you can see the blouse with the pink blouse with the flowers are all hand embroidered. So we really want that today's women that are living in this contemporary world to wear our designs like going to work or in any of their daily social activities. So this way, the tradition still lives amongst them. It's both nostalgic and the now. So one of our products, as I've said, are the apparels. So we have the Marie blouses, the Marie tees, and our Mariquette. So it's like a blazer. So we only produce actually a limited number of pieces per size and per pattern. And we constantly change our patterns every 3 to 4 months. So our designs, our patterns rather, are namely most from our grandmothers, our family members, old Filipina names, and other inspirations as well. Next slide, please. So like the Lorna, we have a pattern named Lorna. So from Congressman Legarda, who is very visible in promoting our design and wearing it with pride as an Anti-Kenya. So she's an empowered woman, as we all know, whose advocacy is for the culture, for the arts, for the environment, climate change. So again, thank you, Deputy Speaker, for your all-out support. Next slide, please. So these are our samples of our blouses and the mariquette for the current collection. So the patterns are subdued with modest colors and simple patterns that could easily be mixed up with a pair of skirt or pants or shorts. So it's a go casual to formal, and then you wear it to work or to party. So it's all around. Next slide, please. We also have our casual look, the Marie tees. So these tees have different hand-woven fabrics on the sleeves and a band. So we have it in 3 basic colors. We only have it in black, gray, and white, and different sizes as well. Next slide, please. So this is also part of our current collection. This was shot here in Antique. So Designs by Marie also wants to empower not only the weavers, but also the Antiqueñas. We want to showcase Antique at their best, the contribution to the community and the society as a whole. Next slide. So to continue, actually Marie started with home essentials. So these are our placemats, our coasters, our table napkins. So because growing up, my sister and I really enjoyed doing table setup, So we really wanted to make a brand that is also our passion. So I think these home essentials will really make your tablescapes more exciting by mixing and matching them. And then it will surely make your dining table more festive. Next slide. So for this season, as what Senator Lauren also mentioned, we launched our throw pillowcase collection. So as of the moment, we only have 2 colors, and then we also have it in 2 sizes. So this is called the Marie Home. So aside from the placemats and the coasters, we also have this throw pillowcases. So you will see this also in our website, and in a few weeks, we will be launching our Christmas collection for the Marie Home. Next slide, please. So last September 8th, we just launched our web store. It's www.designsbymarie.ph. You can find all our products that are available, from Marie blouses, Marie tees, and Marie home essentials. So we're always excited to upload new designs because, as what I've said earlier, we only produce a limited number of pieces per pattern, per design. So we always make sure that our customers are updated and are also looking forward with our upcoming products. Thank you. So that's my last slide.
Thank you very much. I'm so proud of you, and I really enjoy wearing like my uniform, most of your products. I also have your newest one from your mother, and I can't wait to go back to Antique to see all the work that are going on there. We have very creative young entrepreneurs, not just in fashion, but also the weaving centers that I'm setting up there. Just to be sure, the cotton you are using for Marie is Philippine cotton, right? Not imported.
It's the Visayan cotton.
Visayan cotton. Saan galing yan? Yan ba yung ating natanim na sa Antique o hindi pa yan yung galing sa tanim natin, galing sa iba't ibang lugar sa Kabisayaan?
As of the moment, the Visayan cotton is from Creative Definition, so it's from Negros mostly. But we're looking forward to collaborate with you. With our the ones that you're putting up for Antique, the cotton, so that we can use. Yeah.
Once it's up, pero nagtanim din ang Pilpida sa Patnongon, I think, or sa Bugasong Antique. Perhaps you can find out what happened to the cotton farms, just like what Nina said in Pinili, I put in 20 million and then 100 million for various cotton farms. Let me state the areas where I have here. I funded it for 2 years. Let me see. Filfida Cotton Farm, Pinili, Ilocos Norte, San Fabian, Pangasinan, Miagao, Iloilo, Alumudjan, and Tigbawan, Patnongon in Antique, Bayawan in Negros Occidental, Dumingag, Zamboanga del Sur, and Alabel in South Cotabato. So I want our designers to work with the grassroots to find out saan napunta yung inallocate kong pera na 20 million yung una at pangalawa 100 million. Hindi biro ito na linigay ko sa Filfida para kanilang itayo na cotton farm. Kasi hindi naman ako nakakapunta dyan, dapat minomonitor. So perhaps Louie can help me to find out yung sa Zamboanga. And then Nina can help me to find out yung sa Pinili. And then Susan and Christine can help me to find out yung cotton farm na iba pa yung cotton building na facility, iba pa yung cotton farm. So you can all help me monitor because sometimes government funds so much I allocate, but where does it go? And so thank you for that. Last but not the least is another doer, passionate, innovative, creative, yung magkapatid, si Elsie at si Emmy. Matagal na yon. They've been to my office in the Senate and they tell me about the problems of the textile industry. Sila na lang kumbaga ang last women standing, di ba? But they persist and they have their facility in Cavite. I've not been to. They've been inviting me bago pa ang COVID. Pero I would like to do that. At sa kanila, hindi beadwork ng katutubo, hindi naman handloom weaving, pero ito ay innovation sa mga wool. No, not wool. Cotton knitted. But I will ask Alena, bakit ba Alena ang tawag nyo? Elsie, stand and tell us more and show us your presentation. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. It is so wonderful to get to learn about your stories, get to know you better, because of course I have seen a lot of your work in most of the fairs that we all have joined, but listening to you now has made my knowledge about your personal work so much better. So thank you, and to be able to share the same cloud as you is such an honor. So our Alena, the name earlier on, Senator Lauren has asked where Alena name came from. Well, when we departed from calling our products Chill by Nooks, which is another long story, the two of us were sitting down thinking about what sort of name should we name our brand. So the two of us were going back and forth with names until both of us actually thought of the same thing. There's a story, there's a book that we read long time ago, which I asked my sister to read as well. And one of the characters is called Aliena, because we were trying to look for a name, a feminine name that sounds strong. Aliena actually is a person who makes her own clothes. She makes her own yarns. So that was such a good name for us, Aliena, until we went back and forth, naging Alena na siya. So we're very happy to learn that all of us are actually thinking about the same thing, which is protecting the past, tradition, which we all hope to pass on to the future generation and to be enjoyed by the now generation. Next slide, please. Is it traceable? Does it have the ability to scale? These are two questions which are actually our guidelines when we are defining our work on legacy. As a brand with responsibility, as a brand with responsibility, we know very much that consumers nowadays are getting more and more smart. So being traceable means, would we be able to answer the question, who made it? Who made my clothes? What is it made of? Totoo ba siyang 100% cotton when we label it? And at the same time, uso na ngayon kasi yung Marie Kondo, when people start decluttering, senior movement, decluttering, we would like to be able to say that the clothes that we make are those that would stay in their closets and relevant, because they are relevant and they could easily be passed on, or something that a mom and a daughter would wear. Okay, next slide, please. Again, we would like to speak about traceability. Traceability for us have different ingredients. The people, the raw material, where it came from, and the research and development that goes with it. In the past, PTRI was headed by a different director. I think it was Director Lombok. Oh. Who was it? Tom Bok. And he has supported my sister when they were putting together the mix of piña and cotton. When we decided to come up with a yarn that's a mix, it wasn't a competition with the piña makers, but to complement the yarns, so that the reach would become much bigger, so that this way we can give more jobs to more people, which led us to Philippine cotton. Philippine cotton, unlike your journey, of course, where you walked and you climbed mountains, and then you found beautiful weaving facilities and met interesting people. Our story is a little bit sadder because before, my sister got to know the people from the cotton development. And so she was asked to go and have a look at their farms. When she went there, she asked the question, what am I looking at? Because she saw land as far as your eyes can see that had nothing on it. Because actually cotton farming has been with us for before, during the past administrations, but it stopped because the support from the government has shifted, probably has shifted to other projects and everything. So with us, what we have done, because us from Nooks or Alena, sometimes when we think of a project, we want to do it straight away. The picture here is of a farmer who is one of the few farmers that we knew back in Bayawan. Who we wanted to work with are farmers who only have 2 hectares, let's say, or 1 hectare of land, because we realized that actually a lot of people, or even people from the South, are landed people. They actually have land, but they have no idea what to do with it. So because of that, we've always been harping on and on and on about assistance, but then again, we decided, let's just go. So we funded about 9 of these farmers. We gave them everything that they needed. We traveled there from the 1st month to the 3rd month until it was time to harvest. But yes, when it comes to the making of the spinning facility, that would be another topic again. Maybe another meeting that hopefully Senator Ligarda would organize. As a part of our research and development, actually, because aside from us being knitters, we are also yarn people. We have worked endlessly with bamboo. Bamboo as you know, is already present everywhere, China and other countries. But what we have developed is actually as a kind of bamboo that what we wanted to do, just to be able to give, just in case this project will take off, is that we would like to work with bamboo that is present everywhere so that we don't have to farm it, because to have it farmed will take a long time. So what my sister has done and her team of R&Ds actually is they gather different kinds of bamboo, tried to talk to some students. One of our niece happens to be a chemist, so she tried to also make some enzymes, to make it as natural as possible. Next slide, please. Okay. Our cotton advocacy. I guess this answers the question, what are we doing here when we are actually knitters? Because we go as far as 10, 12 years, I think, 15 years. A designer's understanding of fiber, whether this be man-made or natural, is the very same concept as a chef's clear grasp of the effect of each ingredient in a recipe. Here are pictures of us traveling to Iloilo, actually. We went to Iloilo. We met a lot of weavers, and we spoke to the local community to please give us some displaced women who would like to learn about cotton. So we brought them our cotton, and we showed them through our own, this spinning facility that you can see was made by us, because we would like them to go through the process of appreciating how to make yarn, because actually we like to talk about, like livelihood doesn't just end up in farming. If the husband and wife go and make, when they start farming, what they can do after is actually do hand spun yarn from hoping that they could do this. We taught them, we showed them, we tried to show them via Google how precious hand spun cotton is. And of course, it doesn't end there. What we did is for this project, we tried to show them or teach them basic arithmetic as well, because like me, I don't want to go into so much details or learning details anymore. But what we wanted to show them in this picture is how much percentage of dye should go into that, how much should go into that, so that you can come up with something so beautiful. And just to see the smiles on these faces, I would also like to say that by the end of this exercise, which was 9 days, we also had young people come in so that they can see how beautiful, how much projects they can do. Like teachers came over to see what they can teach their children. Well, sadly, at the end, where the children made their own dyed t-shirts, no one wanted to sell it anymore, because we thought maybe we can teach them how to become entrepreneurs, but they wanted to keep it for themselves first. Spreading cotton awareness to the local weavers was born out of concern for those who lack knowledge regarding the material composition of their products. So true, because 15 years ago, we met some weavers from South, and they came over because knowing that we are yarn people, they said, pwede ho bang humingi ng yarn? And we said, what is happening? And they told us that they are running out of material. So we said, okay, what we can do is we cannot give you just a donation. We would like you to start working on cotton, because what we realized then was a lot of them are using cotton with a mix of polyester and stuff like that. So we thought, for something so precious and beautiful, we should at least try to be natural, because this is the now. Everyone wants at least to be natural, right? So we thought, why not try to use cotton? There was a lot of them didn't like it at first. There's a lot of resistance because cotton is not as strong as polyester. So is that, you know, if you just adjust a little bit your weft, or if you just adjust it a little bit, you will learn. And not just that, whoever is selling for you or whoever you are selling it to will know how precious this is. Because first thing is what we have always been talking about, the reason why we wanted, just like everyone, a spinning facility is the price of cotton in the Philippines shouldn't be more expensive than the price of cotton elsewhere. Because if we want to compete with the world market, we shouldn't limit ourselves to just this, to a story, beautiful as it is, how difficult it is to come up with a kilo of cotton. Well, the only way that we can compete is by pricing it the same way as India, as China, and all these places, right? So that is where we were different. We're always going on and on and on. Prices should be the same as anyone so that other countries can buy from us as well. We are into making sure that the meaning of sustainability is reached, because we want to make sure a lot can be made so that we can answer our farmers when they say, what's next? Anong gagawin na namin? Kung kukonti lang ang na-spin, what will happen next, right? Okay, next slide, please. Why does it matter? Like I said earlier, our cotton and cotton piña yarn is a complement to our beautiful piña that is being made by most of you. But what we wanted to make is, what we wanted to come up with is a piña cotton that can be used on a day-to-day, for a day-to-day basis. This man here, that's myself and my sister traveled to Aklan, and this man was showing us how he was scraping, and the lady hanging the things is actually the wife, showing us the fiber, showing us how much is there. When we went that time, we went there because we wanted to show them that if there were 15 steps in making a fiber, we could come up with something that is just a little bit easier, but just as beautiful, just so that they can earn much more money. And I would like to share the story that why it matters, because like this lady here, when we went, we gifted her with one shawl, which is made of piña and cotton. She cried. And it touched us so much because she said, finally, I can wear something. I can wear it to church. I can wear it to the market. And people will not say, uy, ang yaman-yaman mo na. It matters because she said, this is what I do, and I'm able to wear it. Yes. And the next picture there, which you see of them are wearing the t-shirt that says Snooks, is a picture actually when we had our first harvest of cotton, which sadly, I have to say that our cotton, some of it we were able to spin before, but harvest from this one is still sitting in our factory waiting for our turn to spin. Which leads us to this advocacy, Senator Lauren, that if we're not able to go back to them again because we're unable to spin, what next? Hi. Okay, so what the other lady is wearing is, of course, a product of piña cotton. It's made into a beautiful shawl. It's soft, it's pliable, it's cool. It has a very nice linen feel. Next slide, please. It's the ability to scale. Yes, because of the ongoing, with the ongoing situation that we have, most of the time, It is necessity that makes us start something. Let's say the story of this coat. We were going to a fashion show in the States, and my sister, who happens not to like wearing formal clothes, I looked at it and I thought, why don't we make something that will suit you whether you're in the beach or whether you're in a gala dinner? And so this is the beginning of this design. That's why it's called the Emmy's coat. We have to make it timeless. It has to be practical, and it should focus on, it should be able to appeal to everyone outside. It should be wearable here. It should be wearable outside. A lot of the questions being asked is it hot or does it make you warm? And I say it actually isn't, because it's very breathable. And what I have to mention as well is, because our factory, or the people that we work, we've always been working in Carmona, some people think that we're actually from Carmona, which is, no, it's not. We're from Baguio City. That is the reason why I think we know exactly what wearing a knitwear is like, sweater or jackets and stuff like that. Growing up in Baguio, because of the weather, we were always familiar with knitwear. And so coming here, being here is such a challenge, because of course, the mentality of some people when it comes to knitwear is, ang init, o kaya pang Tagaytay, or I'll just get it when I'm traveling. So this is the reason why we have to innovate. And so in our journey, of course, in designing, we try as much as possible not to look left and right. Otherwise, we will be led only by designs of others. We would like to be able to come up with something that is always us. It may not be different to the others, but the only way that we could do that is to believe that we can actually come up with something different. And innovation, the word innovation, of course, is something that has always been with us. Our work with PTRI, they would always come to us and say, hey, Nooks, here's a piece of yarn. Can you do it into something? And we would knit it, and we would do something to show them that there is a possibility for doing something like that. But for us, when it comes to our fabric, knowing that a lot of the modern fabrics nowadays is coming from Korea, from China, and there is a lot of something that is typically yours. We want to make sure that is from us, that we don't have to wait for the next delivery to be able to have fabric. So we started to design our very own, which is probably based on something cultural, because that's what we want, is to make something more modern so that it becomes so much more wearable. So we came up with different innovations, and we came up with this spacer fabric we call Vortex, which is really our own. Can we have the video, please? Here. So when this pandemic started, yes, these are the characteristics. Next slide, please. Why it matters? Because the breadth of a brand's reach is directly proportional to the longevity of its people's livelihood. Yeah. So this is something that will probably take another meeting to discuss. Like I said earlier, we were working with farmers. We provided them everything from seeds to the knowledge, and this is in Bayawan. And then after we have harvested, we brought it all the way here to Manila. But sadly, we cannot call them and say, let's plant again, because we haven't been able to spin it. that is the truth of the matter. So defining legacy, we in Alena acknowledges the influence of the past and respects the tradition that must be carried through to the next generation. But as designers and brands, we too must create art and innovation that future enthusiasts will remember us by and stand guard over. And to ensure our brand's legacy, we will continue to be an organization that is traceable and strives to scale. Traceability is knowing where everything comes from, and ability to scale is knowing where we are going.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Elsie Standen. Thank you to Alena, Emmy, and Elsie. Thank you to all of you. You know, this is a 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. show, and it is 12:45 because it's always been so interesting pagdating sa textiles, indigenous weaves, even innovation. And we take note and acknowledge the fact that perhaps the original designers are the dream weavers, the Tiboli. The original designers are those women like Magdalena Gamayo, the Gamaba awardees. The original designers are perhaps the Balaans and the Ata Manobo and the Panay Bukidnon. And we are grateful that there are young designers, female and male designers who innovate and combine contemporary designs, and you give them livelihood. It is amazing. And I know that the Spacer fabric has really given me warmth during the cold autumn days in Europe when I've worn it in my United Nations speeches, in my speech in Bochum, where I lectured on Piña Seda. I could not wear piña, but I wore your jacket. In the Frankfurt Book Fair, I wore again your jacket. We'll have those photos later. But I'd like to thank all of you for your presentation. You went out of your way to have beautiful backgrounds and informative presentations. While this is about fashion, that's only 1/10 of what we talked about. What we talked about is rural livelihood. What we talked about is Philippine innovation and design. What we discussed now is connecting businesses, enterprises in the city to the boondocks and the farmlands, and the need to connect artisans and livelihoods and weavers to the market. And so I am also grateful that we've had, since the beginning, Ria Matute of the Design Center, Anton Sidayaw of BCP, Noel Icatlo of BCP, Odette Mendoza as well, Jassy Otias of Citem, Giselle Erese of Citem, Faye Hall, Citem Delia, Kiasara of Pilfida, Julius Leanyo of PTRI, Lilo Kaya of PTRI. Also with us was DTI ASEC in charge of OTOP, Demsina Naga, and DTI OTOP Clark Nebrao, and Ezra Bayalan of NCCA. So for Pilfida, Miss Delia Clasara was also in the Zoom. And what I'm excited about, and to inform you, the Patnongon Ginning and Spinning Center in Antique will be up soon. So thank you so much, Elsie Standen, for that. Thank you so much, Louie Lobregat. I can still see you. Thank you, Len Kabili, who had to go to another meeting, but she was with us. Thank you to designs by Marie, magkapatid Christine and Susan who are with us, and Marlene, of course, Jorel, thank you so much, and Marga, who also posted already on her social media. Did I miss anyone? No, all of you. And thank you to the women artisans, to our indigenous weavers, to the natural dye makers, even to the traders, even to the embroiderers. Thank you na nagbibit-bit ng abaka, yung nag-harvest ng bariw, yung nagtatanim ng red variety, ng pineapple Spanish variety, yung nagtatanim ng cotton sa cotton farm, whether sa Antique or sa Pinili, Ilocos Norte, yung nag-ginning at spinning, yung nagka-cutting sa inyong mga disenyo, sa inyong lahat, duro, gid nga salamat. Pagkatapos ko mag-goodbye ngayon, na halos 3 oras tayo ang pinag-uusapan, ay ang ating mga gawa. While it may seem glamorous because it is about fashion, this is actually more than fashion. Fashion is important because it brings it to the bigger global stage. But what's important is each and every designer this morning up to this afternoon understands their craft, connects directly with the source of material, traceability, acknowledgement of the kind of textiles, regard, recognition, appreciation, and respecting intellectual property of our indigenous peoples and their original designs, paying right wages to our weavers, whether they are Yakan or Panay Bukidnon, treating them fairly with respect because of their culture, heritage, and their craft. Fair trade, slow fashion, sustainable rural livelihood, and micro enterprises supported by yours truly. I am so grateful. While I am tired and hungry, I'm sure my staff are too, because they're awake early in the morning to set up. At 7, I was already here. Thank you so much. Duro, gid nga salamat. Palangga ko kamo. We see you again on Thursday, and I am always in touch with any of you. And mind you, hindi lang po sila. There are hundreds more. I wish we could have others who are equally talented, big and small, maybe way ahead of them by decades, maybe very new. We will try to have them in the new normal, because this Stories for a Better Normal really recognizes talent, skills, and effort to make life better in the new norm. This was born out of the pandemic after I passed my bill called Better Normal Act to provide protection against COVID-19 and to provide sustenance and livelihood for people who have lost their jobs amid the pandemic. In Stories for a Better Normal, we only talk about hope. We only talk about inspiration. We only talk about what can be done together, all positive vibes. And we help each other and support each other. So with that, I hope you will be happy with the pictures I will show you wearing some of your creations. And for those I have not yet guested, it doesn't mean that you are less. In fact, there's just not enough time for everybody. I am grateful to all of you for being here with us and telling us your stories in the new norm for a better normal, giving livelihoods to people, making lives better. Keep safe. God bless. I will visit you personally when it's safer after COVID. I will go home to my Antique very soon when it's safe, hopefully when there's a vaccine or even before, after COVID. In the meantime, continue weaving. Go girls, go guys. Duro gid nga salamat. Mayad nga hapon kaninyo nga tanan, palangga ko kamo.